Today we're going to talk about melodic works, and in particular all those devices from Ableton Live and Max for Live that are helping us to write melodies and chord progression in a way that it wouldn't be possible if you don't study music. So let's get to it, basically. So let's play the demo first. I got here a pad, and then I'm just gonna play a melody underneath. So I was almost randomly playing notes. Well, not totally randomly, but as I said, I'm not a musician, so I don't really know how to play the chords, and I am a big mess about knowing the melody and the chords. But I use basically two devices. The most common devices that comes from Ableton Live from the version 8, I guess, or version 7. It's the MIDI effect, chord, and scale. So the scale plugin of Ableton Live, pretty simple. You just drag and drop the scale plugin. I drag and dropped it here already. And you can choose the root key with this knob. And in my case, in this example, I use B. Let's just switch off the other one, for example, for the moment. So when I'm playing the keyboard now, well, I have a MIDI keyboard, but I can also play this keyboard here. And everything sounds in the scale of B. So I'm not going to make any mistake harmonically talking. Then if I add a chord plugin next to it, before the scale plugin, which is very important, that has to be before, you have some preset, fifth, grandiosa, fourth chord, house, fourth to go. I use some of them on my own preferences. In this case, I'm using the fifth chord. And as you can see, when I'm playing the fifth chord, I am playing pretty much beautiful melodies with those two plugins combined. Well, I'm also using a nice synthesizer. I'm using Absynth, which is very good for pads. So when I use my friendly Apple keyboard, I can play, a very nice melody. Then I put the pad again. This pad here is just an audio loop that I used, and it's already analyzed in B minor. Okay. So it's playing a really beautiful melody, and it will never fail. Even if I press the black notes, the semitones, it's still, those are the same. It's still going to be within the scale of B, and that's the beauty of the scale plugin and the chord plugin together. And then you can do the same things with the bass. So let's play again the pad. And for the bass, this time I put an arpeggiator, and I put it's written C minor, but I change it into B because my pad is in B. So let's play the bass. It's also playing in melody. Let's play together with this pad. So you can obtain a really interesting result. Another example, it's this stub that I have here. Again, it's on C minor, fifth chord, but the only difference is that this time, as you can see here, I have a MIDI clip with two notes, I don't know if you can notice the difference, but those notes are not always playing the same pitch because I added a random plugin before them. And so what it's doing is generating always different pitches, different notes every time with the scale plugin on and the chords, the fifth chord on. So it's doing everything within the scale C. And it's nice because it's, it's playing for me notes, and I can put the pad on. And a really cool thing that you can do when you have this playing, you can write the MIDI notes next to it. So if I go to the I/O settings and I go to the channel, the MIDI channel, I just go to the routing and I tell to the 8th channel to take the sound from the channel number 7, Record Up Techno port, monitor in, and then adjust. Let's just put one bar here. It's printing the MIDI of the chord and the scale together. So it's actually printing what is playing into MIDI notes in the MIDI clip, which is very cool because you can see what it's actually doing. You can see what Ableton is actually doing, and so you can later edit the various MIDI clip. Let's stop the recording. And now this beautiful MIDI clip, I just put it on the channel without the random chord, random devices, the fifth chord and the C minor. So now that is playing what it was playing before. And like for instance, you can do so many things with it. You can just take a portion of it and just loop it, and you can just take the one that you like and you can just play with it. So that's a really cool thing. You can generate chord with the random plugin, which is very interesting. And by the way, the random plugin, you can take it from here in MIDI effects. Another technique that you can use with the scale, it's with the arpeggiator. Obviously, it's the same principle as before. It's arpeggiating within the scale of C minor. So when I put another beautiful pad next to it that it's on C minor, so you can also have interesting, synthesis with the arpeggiator and the scale plugin next to it. And all this, it's come from Ableton Live, so it's not third-party plugin. So you can do already a lot of things with the native plugin of Ableton. Next one, we are going now to the Max for Live territory, and this plugin. It's an incredible plugin by Mario Nieto, which is a Max for Live developer. I bought this plugin, Random Chords. Well, I used to have the free one, and then I was using it basically almost all the time, and I bought it. So this is the combination of the scale plugin and the chords plugin together, plus a little bit more. So let's just play what it's doing. I am in C minor again, just to keep the same key. So just to explain you briefly, you have the possibility, this plugin has all those first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. It's the pitch within the sound that you can transpose. You can add the lower note, the much more basic one. And here, the velocity and the ARP delay, you can set the rate of the maximum and the minimum. So the ARP delay, it's basically, when you press a note, how many milliseconds do you want the note to be starting from the time that you press the finger? So here you can see, you can feel that when he's playing, there are certain pitches that are starting before or after. So that's really, really beautiful. For example, in this case, the lowest chord, it's starting after the others, because I just set up these random things, and you can set the maximum and the minimum, and that's really important because you can really play amazing chords, and you can have this kind of imperfection of those maybe pianists that are playing the chords, and probably the middle finger and the index finger are touching later. So that's really, really clever. And then you have the velocity of each of the pitches. Then you have the octave transposition. Amazing. And then you have the transpose within the keyboard range. So this device, and apart from the fact that it's got a lot of scales, for this example, for this tutorial, I'm just showing you the minor chords because I like minors, but also because I don't want to just go too wide with this. So just to explain you. So that's one thing. The other one, it's called a random riff generator, and this is a free version. I haven't bought this one yet, but I will soon because I just discovered it a bit later than the chord generator. So it's a arpeggiator like the Ableton one, but it's got much more function inside. So it's got the pitch, the duration, the volume, and you can randomize. You can tell him, well, let's play this with the rhythm on the background, because otherwise it's a bit difficult to understand. I just choose the loop to be on 7th step so that it's got this repetition feeling. It's not mathematical on the 4 or 8, it's 7. And I like the despair number because it gets you this kind of circle much better. You can choose the quantization. So very interesting. You get a shuffle, the back and forth, or just forwards, backwards, and then obviously and then you got the pitch here. If you want, you can just move it, and also the octave. So an amazing plugin, really, and actually this is very good for bass lines mostly, but you can use it also for other things. So the next one, it's the Skinnerbox Time Sync. It's a Max for Live device that you can buy from Ableton website. I'm going to put the link in the description also of the previous device. So this is a step sequencer, also called matrix. For some people call it matrix, some people call it a step sequencer. So it's a generator of impulses from whatever synthesizer you assign. So let's just play the plugin without the scale. A nice bass loop that you can always change. As you can see, you can change the pitch, the density, and also you can do like in the other plugin. You can just go on. Let's put the scale on, the scale plugin. So this is playing it's correcting it in C minor, so let's put a pad. And as you can hear, the bass, it's harmonically matching with the pad. no matter what I do, I can always change the sequence, and it will be always correct by the scale plugin. So really interesting also for the bass. The Skinnerbox times thing can be used for everything, not just for the bass. You can put it for many other sounds. And as a, apropos of this, I was actually saying this, you can use the Skinnerbox times things for other sounds. In this case, I put a different sound. And here again, I can change the sequence. Another beautiful melody. So let's put the bass together. And so you have 4 elements that are really matching within each other. And also this one here, it's got a 5th chord, C minor. These are the sounds from before. So yeah, all in all, this is a really, really useful tutorial to make music that is harmonically matching within each other so that you don't make a mistake. But then again, as I said in the beginning of this tutorial, you should not use this technique all the time, because sometimes the music, it's nice when it's not always harmonically matching. There are some interesting sounds that have some disharmony, and I think that sometimes it makes the sound a bit more captivating and not always expecting to be nice and melodically matching. So that's everything for today. Thank you for everything, and all the devices that I've been using, I will put the link in the description. See you on the next one.